Hey guys, welcome back to another episode here of Franchise Hockey Manager 8 with the Buffalo Sabres. If it sounds different, it's because I'm recording from a different room. My wife and kids are gone for the next couple of days, so I'm actually recording this sitting with my legs up in a recliner rather than sitting in my office. So I don't know what it sounds like. I guess I'll hear it on the playback, but if it sounds different, that's why. We are about ready to jump into the offseason. If you remember last episode, we lost in 7 games to the Edmonton Oilers in the Stanley Cup Finals. Had the best record in the NHL this past season. We've won 1 title since taking over here in 21-22. Made the playoffs all 4 seasons, 1 championship, and we are going to try to run it back this upcoming season. So I'm going to sim ahead to July 1st, and as we know, this can take a minute, so I'll sim ahead to July 1st, and we'll come back then, and we'll get started with the off season. Be right back. All right, it is July 1st. Before we even look at any of this, I want to go in and make sure that I set my annual finances. So as it stands right now, we have 1,200 points. If we leave it as is, we're going to be at 557. I want to raise the development budget by 3 points. Absolutely. Raise our wage budget. Let's bump heavy marketing. Let's go high budget there. Ticket prices are going to remain where they are. We're going to normal maintenance, and we can't add any points. I mean, I guess we could convert 477 regular seats into 230. No, we don't need to upgrade our stadium as far as that stuff goes. Any coaches we need to? Yeah, we need to replace a scout. John Van Boxmeer has retired at the age of 73. A couple of trades. Minnesota makes 3 deals. They send Tanner Pearson to the Coyotes for a 2nd round pick. They trade Jordan Greenway to the Caps for a 2nd round pick, and Nick Delorier for a 3rd. So they pick up 2 seconds and a 3rd right there. Freddie Anderson retires. Marcus Foligno, Yarlamov, Jonathan Taves, Robin Leonard, Marc-Andre Fleury. Back where it all started for the Flower, Pittsburgh. Jamie Benn, Backlund, Hoffman, Spooner, Alex Killorn, Radulov, Cam Atkinson, Voracek, Jordan Stahl, David Perron, Brent Burns, Josh Bailey, Nick Backstrom, Claude Giroux, Tyler Ennis. Brent Burns has his number retired. Anse Kopitar retires. TJ Oshie. Lots of retirements. Clefbaum and Malkin got worse. That's fine. So let's delete these messages. And let's take a look at our roster real quick. So we currently, let's go. First thing I want to do is go to unsigned. See if there's anybody we want to bring in. Yep, we're going to bring in Jekko and Poltapov both. Oh, we have to sign Ivanov too. He's going to be a free agent. So let's go ahead and meet his demand. Let's get him in. Jekko. Let's meet his demand, get him in. And Poltapov, let's offer a contract, meet his demand, and get him in. All right. The rest of these guys we are good with. So let's look at our roster now. So we're going to have Luukkonen, and if we go to Rochester, call up Portillo. And that's really it. I mean, we have Johnson down there on our team as well. So if we put Johnson in the mix, we've got 8 defensemen. That means Johnson is likely our 7th. That means Clefbaum is our 6th, which I'm okay with, but I feel like we need another defenseman. Power's obviously going to be quite good. Klingberg is fading. He's going the wrong direction, frankly. Rasmus Anderson is solid defensively. Matthias Samuelsson is solid defensively. I think we need another defenseman. Forward-wise, McGing, let's see. We have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. We have 14 forwards. We count the 2 we just signed. Foot will be a scratch. McGing will be a scratch. We could probably use another forward. We're set at goaltending. We're going to go Lukin and Portillo. Yeah, we're going to run with Luukkonen and Portillo. So a defenseman and a depth forward, I think, is what we're going to be looking at in free agency here. So let's see what is available. Oh, boy. Okay, so is he like a free agent, or is he a... Yeah, Matthew Savoy, come on down. I mean, that could be our depth signing right there at 21 years old. Victor Olofsson is a Fritz, right? Olofsson's a free agent. Kubalik is a free agent. I forgot about that. Jacob Chychrun might not be a bad choice. Denton Matachuk. Yep. I mean, why not, right? I mean, who is this? Elias Salmonson. I think he's a D overall rating, though, or D overall confidence level. So he may not reach that level, but I think at a minimum we sign the 20-year-old Denton Matachuk. Okay. I mean, the easiest thing to do is just to bring back one of our own, right? Is to bring back, what is Kubalik looking for? Kubalik is looking for just under 6, and Olofsson is looking for just under 6. But I think the bigger concern off the bat is picking up another defenseman. So what does Jacob Chychrun want? 7 years, $7.3 million. I mean, we could probably get that number down to about 7, but do we really want to invest $7 million a year in a 27-year-old defenseman? I don't know. If we look at our roster and we look at our contracts, that's not where I wanted to go. I wanted to go here. All right, so Eichel is up after this year. We're going to have to re-sign Jack. Kisakov is up after this year, and Cousins is up after this year. So we got a couple of big free agents there. I mean, we could sign... I think Chychrun actually makes sense because Klingberg's off the books in a couple of years. Anderson and Klefbom's definitely off the books. Samuelson we have to re-sign. Yeah, we don't have a lot of long-term contracts at all, so I think maybe Chychrun makes sense. So let's go back to Let's go back to the free agent center. And you know what? We're just going to do, let's drop this by $1 million and this by $1 million. Let's bump that by $1 million, that by $1 million. And then do something like that. 6688776. All right. Sign that contract. Let's sim ahead a day and see what we get from that offer. All right, we got offered a lot of national team jobs. I'm not interested in those. So Yeko. So these are our guys. Matachuk is worth more. I can't give you more. Okay. Poltapov is okay with that offer. Savoy is okay with that offer. Chychrun wants more. What? Now you want more money. You want more money. So if we bump that up to 8. Okay, so, oops, that's not what I wanted to do. Let's do that. All right, fine. Let's just give him what he wants and see what he says. So if we can bring in Poltapov, Matachuk, Chychrun, Savoy, Yeko, and then Ivanov will be depth defense. I think that will be okay. Portillo wants number 1. He can't have number 1. He can have number 10. All right, so let's sim ahead another day. And I am recording, right? Yes, I am. All right. I'm not interested in being a national team coach, so now we can go ahead another day. Let's see what we get here. It's possible he signs with somebody else. Yeah, Chychrun is not. Okay. So they want more. So he's getting money from the Sharks. So we may go in and offer him one more deal. So Giannis Moser in a 7th for Lysel and Nick Pierre. Okay, so now what does he want? Now he wants $8.8 million for 7 years. I mean, do I really want to go $9 million for Jacob Chychrun? I think we're getting to a point where that might be a little too much with some of the other contracts that we're going to have to sign people to. That may be a little too much. Let's offer him. Let's get some more depth in. So Ivanov, Salmonson, Yeko, Savoy, Matachuk, Poltapov. Offer contract. Yeah, okay. So we have a contract to him. So if not Chychrun, then who? So let's filter out. Let's filter out the defensemen and the goalies, or the forwards and the goalies. I mean, he's clearly the best option, right? I mean, he's clearly the best option. He's the best defenseman available. We could go after someone like Mackenzie Weegar, who's not quite as good, but probably wants significantly less. No, he wants $7 million too for 4 years. Okay, so if we're going to pay Weegar $7 million for 4 years, I think it makes sense. Let's just do this. We're just gonna go. Actually, let's do it. Yeah, 9. Use for all. Bump this up to 10. This up to 10. This down to 8. This down to 8. And this down to 7. How does that sound? All right. Let's see how that goes. That's a lot of money, but gives us another A-plus defenseman in the lineup, and we can deal with our other contracts next year. We may have to, if we sign him, we may have to move one of our defensemen. Okay, you've given me quite an offer. I might not sign, but okay. So far, he's okay with that number. Let's go ahead another day. Got the draft coming up, I think, on the 6th or 7th. Rumor has it he's about to sign. Well, that's good. Hopefully that signing is with us. I mean, that's a lot of money, and that's a long-term deal. But we have some other contracts sort of falling to the wayside here. All right, so we got the draft lottery. Let's just run through this quick. The Devils at 16, the Preds at 15, Pens at 14, Blue Jackets at 13, Sharks at 12. So far, everything has stayed the way it's supposed to. Blackhawks at 11, Red Wings at 10, Caps at 9, Caps at 8, Panthers at 7, Canucks at 6, Ducks at 5, Coyotes at 4, Blues at 3. Ooh, Montreal drops from 2 to 1, and the Dallas Stars will get the number 1 pick in the upcoming draft. I'm not too fussed about the draft. I don't suspect there's going to be a lot of high-end talent for us, so the draft could be a pretty quick thing. Let's get ahead of day here, get to the draft. It's thinking about it. Still thinking about it. All right. We signed Jake. Okay, we signed every. We didn't sign Matichuk or Salmonson. They both signed elsewhere. Okay. So we're picking 31st. So we signed Yeko and Savoy. So it was even more important that we signed Chychrun because we lost both of these defensemen. So, all right. Ivanov wants... All of our goalies want number 1. We're going to give this goalie 98 because it's fun to have a goalie with a weird number. Savoy wants 22. He can't have it. He can have 23. And Poltapov wants 13. He can't have 13. He can have 12. All right. So, before we get into the draft, let's look at our let's look at our finances. That's not where I wanted to go. I wanted to go here. So, it says we have cap space. That's next season. Right now, our cap is... That can't be right. $89 million? Okay. Maybe it is. Maybe it is. So, Clefbaum is going to have to go here, I think. I can't shop him. So we'll just place him on the trade block, see what sorts of offers we can get for him. We may have to make a move here. Anybody want Klingberg? Let's see what sorts of deals we can get for Klingberg. A whole lot of... Matty Grzelcyk. What's Matty making? 4.7. That's not going to help me. Teddy Bluger, Matthias Ekholm. What's he making? 6.2. That's not helping. Jankowski. Defensive forward. Hampus Lindholm. He's making 7. I wouldn't mind trading him for another 30-ish-year-old defenseman. But that defenseman would need to be making quite a bit less. Scott Lawton, defensive-minded forward. And a bunch of 5th-round picks. I don't want a 5th-round pick. Nikita Gusev, don't need him. Letang? He's probably making a bunch too, right? Yeah, 5.5. 5.6. Guillaume Brisebois. Blackhawks want to send Tyler Johnson. Bruins want to send a 5th, and a 5th. All right. We'll get through the draft. I'll sort it out because I think we are actually over the cap going into next season. And I certainly don't want to trade any of my forwards. But we have a lot of defensemen under contract. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 under contract. If we are able to move, because I wouldn't mind bringing Anderson back. I like defensemen who have defensive ratings of 16 or higher. Clefbaum, if we can find a taker for Clefbaum, we're gonna jump all over it. I don't care what the offer is. That'll be a salary dump. Klingberg, it probably makes sense to move on, and then we can run Chychrun. And can Chychrun play the left or the right? He's more of just a left defenseman. Dahlin, same thing. So we can probably run... I mean, if we do Chychrun and Anderson, what about Owen Power? Power can do both. So if we do Chychrun and Power on the top line, Dahlin and Samuelson on the second line, and then Rasmus Anderson, no. And then Cameron Allen and Owen Power on the third line. Did I get that right? Yeah, I mean, that would be okay. So maybe let's take a look at the trade block and see if there's anybody there that maybe is young and that someone's looking to move and we can, or cheap, Cheap or young, I don't care which one. None of these guys are going to be cheap. Dumba's not cheap. Victor Berglund. Now that I wouldn't mind. Bring in an offensive-minded defenseman and see if... Let's see if the Bruins would be interested in either of the defensemen that I'm looking to move. Let's start with Clefbaum. He has a no-trade clause, so we can't do that. So what if we add Klingberg? It's hardly likely that they'll accept this offer, which makes sense because it's a pure salary dump. We have a first, a fourth, a fifth, and a sixth this year. So what about our rights? Harvin T, Will Smith. We don't have rights to many players anymore. We have diluted our system, but that's fine. That is fine. We'll make it work. Maybe. We're going to have to give up some draft picks down the road. Yeah, we've really gone nuts here with our... I thought last year was it, so I traded a whole bunch of draft picks. But I want to get this contract gone. So what about Nolan Foote? Hardly likely. Ryan Johnson? Maybe wrong, but you don't think they accept that offer. You know what? Let's backtrack here for a second because I think Foote. Anybody want Nolan Foote? I may just waive him if nobody wants him. It's all the same players. Oh, there's a 20-year-old who's terrible. 7th round pick. Gustav Lindstrom. I mean, that's not a bad depth defenseman because he's got that 15 defense, and he's probably worth more than Nolan Foote to us. So let's complete that deal. That clears up a couple $1 million. And I'll continue to mess around with it once we get through the draft. So let's get to the draft. So let's look at the mock. Who does the mock have us taking? We're picking 31st. The mock has us taking Mike Lasila, a 2-star forward. Let's go. Ugh. Okay. So Michael Misa is probably going to be the top pick. Jordan Gavin will be up there. I wouldn't mind taking someone like Malcolm Spence. He's pretty well developed already, but we could fit that into our lineup. All right, so let's just do the first few picks. First pick is indeed Michael Misa going to the Dallas Stars. Number 2 pick is indeed Jordan Gavin going to the Canadiens. Number 3 pick, Mike Rainey to the Blues. Jacob Vondra to the Coyotes. Jesse McAlevey to the Ducks. Gavin McKenna to the Canucks. Curtis Giberson to the Panthers. Finley Dunbar to the Caps. Oscar Brandstrom to the Caps. Oscar Zetterstrom to the Red Wings. Dan Irwin to the Blackhawks. Devin Lake to the Sharks. Jonathan Glover to the Blue Jackets. There goes Malcolm Spence at 14 to the Penguins. Philip Roach to the Preds. There goes the first goalie, William Gustafsson to the Devils. Felix Anderson to the Red Wings. Victor Eklund to the Lightning. Jeffrey Burns to the Leafs. Anton Frundell to the Flyers. And let's go ahead and sim up to our pick. All right, so where was the Flyers? So then it was Travis Anderson to the Islanders. McAuslane to the Kings. Vogel to the Penguins. Herschel to the Wild. Parchoma to the Sens. Klein to the Rangers. Daniel England to the Golden Knights. Antti Niemen to the Avs. Eric Cederholm to the Hurricanes. And Michael Frossard to the Jets. So what's left for us? Safe pick would be Anthony Desarmais, a 17-year-old forward out of Frungela. 30 points in 22 games a year ago, 2.5 stars. Pretty good offensive ratings for a 17-year-old. Risky suggestions would be Jonathan Thomason, a 17-year-old, 6', 210 defenseman out of Sugerlé. I think Taj. I don't know how to pronounce that. Out of Sweden. 63 game rating. He's not nearly as developed. Scouts think we should take Thomason or Marcus Lindgren, a 18-year-old out of, is it Finland? Vasteras HK. I think we're going to go with Lindgren, the 18-year-old. He's more developed offensively, good temperament, good determination. Yep. Marcus Lindgren will be the first pick for the Buffalo Sabres. Let's head to pick number 2 now. All right, so now scout suggestions think we should take Votek Shihar out of the Czech Republic, an 18-year-old. I mean, good ratings for a 2-star player. Good offensive ratings, decent physicality. He's 18, 6'2", 223-year-old, 18-year-old. Yes, sir. There's an overager there. Vrabel would be the safe suggestion. I think we're going to take Shihar. He's only 2 stars, but he's got good ratings. A little bit more developed already as a 1-star. So now we don't pick again until the 4th round. Yeah, we're going to have to go easy trading our draft picks this year. We need to be able to keep that cupboard restocked. So our scout thinks we should take Miklas, an 18-year-old defenseman out of the Czech. Oof, he's really not developed. Charlie Lewinsky out of the U.S., playing for Kitchener right now. Good physical ratings. He's 20. That I don't like. Valerie Siamyana, I guess. 19 years old, 6 foot, 209 pounds. 2 points in 5 games for Dynamo. Was played for Minsky Zubry in Belarus. Had 54 points there. Ratings are kind of meh. And a couple of, they're all overagers. I don't want to draft a 20-year-old this early. Safe suggestions. Edward Vasek, an 18-year-old out of the Czech. Decent offensive ratings for an 18-year-old, but I don't know that he's ever going to develop. We could use a defenseman. Thomas Sekera, 6 feet, 184 pounds. Ooh, vulnerable to injuries, but and he's got some decent ratings, good balance, good stamina, good puck handling. Sure. Thomas Sekera, 17-year-old in the 4th round. Let's get to our next pick. Martin Snowpack. We're at 20-year-olds here. I think, well, that's an interesting name. Out of Norway. Aliu Moldal Ball. I might take him just because of the name. No, I think we're going to take, where was he? This guy. He was the one that, he was the risky pick, but we're in the 5th round, so how risky can it really be at this point, right? Martin Snowpack. Did we look at him already? He's a little dude. We're going to take Moldal Ball because of the name. And we're in the 7th round. Final pick is going to be Snowpack because he's 2.5 stars. Oh, I guess we're done. I guess we don't have a 7th round pick. All right, so that is the end of the draft. Let's just go ahead a day. Get ahead one more day. So yeah, I've got some stuff I'm gonna have to do in the off season. I think we are gonna have to shed some salary. I'll look at some of the contracts and see if we can bring some of the cheap ones back, like Matthias Samuelsson. I don't think Owen Power is going to be super cheap, but he's somebody we'll take a look at. Let's look at the draft review. At least we weren't on the worst list, which is good. Upcoming draft. Oh, we got to look at scouting because we did lose a scout. I don't know if it's going to make a difference. Nope, we are still at 20s everywhere. Okay. So what did I want to do? I wanted to look at... Let's look at our depth chart. We haven't looked at this in a while. So Matthew Savoy is now our top prospect. I'm jacked about having him. Portillo, Adam Dzeko, Ivanov is going to start in Rochester. Poltapov will be up with the team this year. Harvey, we'll let him play one more year in Providence. And actually, do we need to sign him? I don't think we do. Not yet. Yeah, signing deadline 2030. So we still have... Whoa. I guess we have until he gets through college, right? Yeah. But is it worth bringing him on now? It might be worth bringing him on. I don't know. You know what? It is. With the number of injuries we suffer, it probably is worth bringing him on now. So let's go ahead and sign him. And we are going to have to make some moves. You saw our salary, our cap space, we're over the cap. So we're going to have to make a couple moves here. And I also want to keep an eye on free agency because you always get some of these players whose either rights expired or graduated college, and this guy's looks like a stud. So you'll want to take a look at some of these players that are showing up post-draft because you could end up with some really, really good talent on your team. Roni Hirvonen, scouting grade is a C, accuracy is an A. So we don't know that he's ever going to reach that 3.5 potential, but his ratings are pretty good. But yeah, this 20-year-old Nate Danielson, I think we just sign him and sort it out afterwards. All right, so we got a lot of young players coming up, and we are going to have to. So Ivanov, actually, we'll go to Rochester. That will reduce that. Johnson, we'll go to Rochester, so that will reduce our cap hit as well. McGing, we'll go to Rochester. That will reduce. Okay, so our salary cap is dropping, so we may not be all that bad off. I think the cap's going to be 80. It's usually like $81.5 million or something. So Gustav Lindstrom, let's send him down. Okay, I think that gets us under the cap, so we may not need to make a move, but I'll keep an eye on this here over the next month or so. So I'm going to sim ahead, guys, and we're going to get up to opening day, or opening night, I guess. We'll get through waivers, we'll set our roster, and we will call it an episode. So hang tight, and I'll be back in just a minute. All right, we are back just before opening night, and I didn't have to make any moves. I believe I think we're a little bit over the cap. You can see the cap is 81,500. We're at 81,600, so we're a little bit over the cap. But that just means that we'll run with 20. Well, you know what? Do we run with 22? No, I think we waive Clefbaum, honestly. Gets his money off the books. We can go back down to Rochester. Is there anybody we want to call up? No, not really. I mean, we'll because I think we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 defensemen up here. We need to call a defenseman up. So we need to call up Ryan Johnson. So we'll call Ryan Johnson up, and we'll keep an eye on, because now we actually have a little bit of money. Oh, I guess we don't. We're slightly under the cap, but under the cap nonetheless. So we've got our 23 men. We just have to dress 20. Eichel was out for a bit during the preseason, and he wants a lot of money, and I don't know that I am prepared to bring Jack Eichel back, so this could be the final season in a Sabres uniform for Eichel. We may end up moving on from him. We did re-sign Power and where is he? Tell me the game didn't. Oh, he's in. Okay. That's what's going on. He was in Rochester for some reason. We're $3,000 over the cap. Are you kidding? All right, well, we'll make it work. We'll figure it out. If we have to run with 22 skaters rather than 23, so be it. All right, so we have to set our lines. I think the one defenseman, who's going to sit? I think Cameron Allen's going to sit to start the season, and we'll run with Power, Dahlin, Chychrun, Klingberg, Anderson, and Samuelson. Forward-wise, we got to get Quinn out there, Eichel out there, so who is going to sit? I think first off we'll sit, and we'll get Eichel back out there, of course, and then Quinn. I think 15, 13, 15, they're both the same. They're both the same. Poltapov, really good offensively, pretty good physically. Jekko. I think Jekko is going to sit for now, and Quinn will start. All right, so let's set our lines before we call this an episode. So let's clear the lines. Top line will be Mr. Eichel centering the first line. Nemestikov will be our number 2. Who's going to be on the left? Yeah, I mean, we're missing some scoring. I mean, we absolutely are missing some scoring this year with Olofsson and, why can't I think of his name? The guy we got from the Blackhawks a couple years ago. You know who I'm talking about. All right, so what are we going to do here? Who's going to be our top line? Do we go Cousins and Vrana? Have Cousins as a setup forward, as the playmaker, like that. Vrana, Eichel, Cousins, maybe. Nemestikov is our second line center. I don't want him as a grinder, though. Is that his best? No, counterattacking forward. He's our number 2. He'll be out there with Tuck on the left and who on the right? Not Savoy. We need more of a goal scorer. Do we just throw Poltapov out there and see how he does? I think we do. I think Poltapov is our second line center. Excuse me. He's a power forward. Is he, Rao? Is he really a power forward, though? 6 feet 211. What are the power forward skills? Screening, getting open, puck handling, balance. Yeah, I guess he is. Okay. So Poltapov will be our second line center. Third line will be actually Shaw. Shaw can play the left. No, I need Shaw centering the line, I think. Or do we put Nemestikov as our second line center? Because Nemestikov is more of a two-way forward, so I think that's what we're going to do. I think Shaw is our top line center. Nemestikov is our third line center because he's more defensive-minded. Quinn on the left. Are we short a player? No, we're not. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Oh, I forgot about Kisakov. Right. Forgot about Kisakov. Offensive forward. And Kisakov will sit on the fourth line. And so I guess that means Savoy with Danielson. And who am I missing? Who am I missing? So we got Middlestat. I forgot about Casey Middlestat. Okay, yeah, he's going to play. Can Tuck play the right? Tuck can play the right. So what do we want to do with Casey Middlestat? I mean, he needs to be. So I think we do this. Can Savoy play defense at all? No, he's terrible at it. What about Quinn? Quinn's not particularly good either. So none of these players are any good at defense. So I think Nemestikov with Tuck and Savoy is probably a fine third line. And then Danielson, Kisakov, and Quinn. So our D pairings will be Chychrun, Dahlin, Power, Rasmus Andersson, Matthias Samuelsson, and 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Is Klingberg going to be my third line defenseman? No, I think we go Klingberg and Dahlin. Yeah, so we'll go Chychrun and Power, Dahlin and Klingberg, Rasmus Andersson and Matthias Samuelsson. Luukkonen and Portillo. Our extra attackers will be Eichel and Vrana. Vrana will be our number one shootout guy. Poltapov, Savoy, Cousins, and Casey Middlestat. All right, power play. As I get a beep, my email goes off, so I'll shut that. So Eichel with Vrana and Cousins. Actually, I think I'm going to put Cousins on the point with Dahlin. 15 quarterback rating. Chychrun is 13 quarterback rating. Yeah, okay. So Dahlin is the better offensive defenseman, and then the second pairing will be Klingberg. So who's going to play on that right side on the power play? Tuck, I think. And then the second line is Middlestat, Shaw, Poltapov, and then we need a playmaker. Yeah, Savoy. Yeah, that's fine. All right. That will work for the power play. See, I think we're going to be offensively, we may not be quite as good this year. Losing two top six forwards obviously isn't going to help us, but we're going to be better defensively. We are certainly going to be better defensively, I think, this year with the addition of Jacob Chychrun, for sure. Sean Middlestat on that second line. PK. Nemestikov is our best defensive forward. He'll be out there with Tuck. Shaw with Middlestat and Eichel on the third PK with whom? Quinn, I suppose. Defensive pairings will be the same. It'll be Chychrun. Actually, I don't think I want Power out there on the third on the power play or on the PK. So we'll go Chychrun and Rasmus Andersson, Dahlin and Matthias Samuelsson. And then Klingberg will be out there with, who am I missing? Owen Power. Nemestikov, Tuck. I thought about trading Alex Tuck, but he's one of the few decent defensemen we have on our roster. our few defensive forwards we have on our roster. So that may be something that we need to take a look at as the season wears on. If the defense is struggling, I mean, we're obviously loaded on the back end, but if we struggle defensively, we may need a more defensive-minded forward. So Eichel and Vrana. And then Shaw and Casey Middlestat. 3-on-3, we're going to go Eichel, Vrana, and Chychrun. And then Shaw, Middlestat, and Dahlin. Chychrun out there, Dahlin out there, Owen Power. And I'm hoping the extra ice time leads to a pretty substantial, and we're going to go Dahlin and Klingberg on the 4-on-4. I'm hoping that having Owen Power out there for first-line minutes will go a long way to helping his ratings improve. That's kind of the plan here. So, guys, that's going to do it. So, I think what I'm going to do is I'll sim ahead to I'll sim till November 1st. So I'll sim through the first month. So when we come back next week, it will be November 1st, and we'll go through a couple of months, and we'll see how season number 5 goes with the Buffalo Sabres. As always, I appreciate you watching, guys. I appreciate your support. Please leave a like if you're enjoying it. Subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. Leave a comment below. Let me know your thoughts, and I'll talk to everybody soon. Thanks for watching. Bye-bye.